everyone, and welcome back to Lena Plays Frosty Kiss. I reloaded my save file from the very beginning of the game, and we're gonna try to get the other 3 endings, I think. That's how many I have left. I don't remember, it's been too long. But anyway, we're gonna drop down the firecrackers from the window. Going outside, freezing over, even just getting dressed, I was too lazy for it. Honestly, same. I opened a small window, allowing a breeze of freezing air inside the room. From up here, only Yulana's bright red puffer could be seen. Yulana, catch it! I waved my hand with a small box in it, and after making sure that Yulana noticed me, threw it outside, aiming as close to her as possible. I hope that won't hit her in the head. Thanks! It didn't. Feeling that my duty has been done, I closed the window and returned to the chair. Shrinking because of the cold, Masha lazily followed me with her eyes, staying silent. The same clatter of crockery and quiet chatter of the girls could be heard from the kitchen. The TV was saying some general jolly festive speeches. Each time I struggled harder to open my eyes. My eaves were becoming heavier and everything around just froze. Fell asleep in anticipation. Masha, judging by her looks, was pretty tired of all this festive fuss. She switched the channel to some weird show where 2 suspiciously familiar guys were checking the city myths and legends. Anyway, Masha, where were you all that time? She shuddered, but didn't reply. Masha, take a look. Just promise not to tell anyone. Just now I noticed a phone in her hand. A photo appeared on the screen. Masha in a shiny dress with a microphone on a stage. A lot of people around here. Spangled decorations everywhere. What's that? Simon, come here. Let me save. Let's go with her. Could you please help me? Yulana ran outside and I can't reach it. What? The jar. It's on that high shelf over there. Okay. Lena was the most responsible, notable, and serious-minded person among us. You could ask her about anything and have no doubts that she will do it. Probably that's why her feast was held in her flat. According to Chatty Yulana, Lena is on her 3rd year of studies in a medical university. However, her exact field of studies remained a mystery for me. And judging by the number of times I've seen her pegging away at thematic literature and various tutorials, she was fully engaged in studies. Generally, she never liked to talk about herself or the events of her life. We passed through a narrow corridor and stepped into a tiny kitchen. Honestly, that's probably the same size as my kitchen. Anyway, there were some simple tea goodies at the table. The kettle on the stove was slowly boiling. A weird poster was hanging on the fridge. I was trying to understand who it was, but couldn't. Oh, this one right here, I don't know. It's unrecognizable for me. Stealing sweets, huh? The girls smiled. So, how did everything go with Yulana? Everything's alright, she got it. Meanwhile, Lena came up to the kitchen cabinet and moved a small curtain away, revealing several bellied 3-liter jars. Lena, Slavia, come here. Someone echoed from the living room. Oh, okay, I gotta save again. We'll do the first choice to make it easy on ourselves. Slava sighed, smiled tiredly, and went to the kitchen with a look of apology. Pass me that one, please. She pointed at the farthest jar. Having extended my arm, I managed to knock off some dust, but still couldn't reach it. Give me a sec. Wait, could have thought it out myself. She fled into the living room, leaving me alone. She seemed strange. The jars, the jam, even those rare days when I was invited to the feast by some of my few acquaintances, and the jam was served as a dessert to tea. It was from stores most of the time. Only Lena had everything homemade, and the taste of her food has always been magnificent. There can be no comparison of it, and the artificial flavored jars with shiny labels. Lena has returned to the kitchen with a small stool and apologetic smile. Here, take it. The stool made the task casual. Throughout the whole process, Lena was solicitously standing nearby, ready to help if something happened to me during this transportation. I accidentally made a wrong move on an unstable surface, and at the same moment she carefully snapped me up. Do you need assistance with anything else? I asked when the jar was already on the table, and I finally stood on the stable floor. Well, could you please open it? She handed me the opener. Slava hasn't returned to the kitchen. Instead, she stayed with Masha in the living room. I was sitting in the kitchen, carefully drinking the hot tea thoughtfully served by Lena, who was bustling about near the cooker, watching the meat pie in the oven, frying, cooking something that made me swallow my saliva time after time. And then I slapped myself right in the face in frustration. I forgot to hand her the present. What? I've already exchanged some shiny boxes with the other girls during our afternoon shopping, except for Lena, who seemed not to leave the apartment for the last 2 days, getting ready for the guests. I forgot something. Wait a minute. And entered the hallway, feverishly looking around, trying to remember where I had put it. I found a small box in the inner pocket of the jacket that had been neglectedly thrown on the chair in the living room. Slava and Masha were talking about something connected with show business, judging by the short fragments of their conversation. I couldn't care less about their conversation, and I decided to hurry back to the kitchen. Here, finally, Happy New Year. Lena turned around and saw a tiny parcel in my hands. Thank you. She took the box and, after thriffling it for a bit, put it on the windowsill. And that's all? You won't even open it? It even hurt me to get the exactly planned present for her. I had to search half of the city, visit a lot of small shops and huge malls, and she just put it aside without even opening it. Strange. It seemed that we got along with her well, even better than with the other girls. This estrangement seems weird.
No shit, Sherlock.
I stared at the table, deep in my thoughts, leaving the last gulp of tea to cool off. It's hardly been a while, but all of us had already changed a lot. Someone almost intensively, and someone quite significantly. What's the matter with you? She stood in front of me and stared at me, having abandoned the cooking. It's nothing. Everything's alright.
Are you sure about that?
Maybe she's just waiting for New Year to come to open it then. A weak reassurance, actually. Tell me, don't you miss it? I mean, everything that happened? Lena cast her eyes down. Maybe I do. It seemed that she wanted to add something, even breathe some air, but remained silent. I was about to finish my tea and leave, as she said, "And you? Do you miss it?" "Yeah." I replied automatically, but truthfully, even though I didn't have enough time to think over her question. I do miss it sometimes. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not living in dreams. I like the reality much more, but sometimes I reminisce. It was so easy, so carefree there. It was much easier to make decisions and say things I wouldn't dare to say here. I realized that I had talked a bit too much. Immediately shut up and looked at Lena, expecting to see a smile or a vacant look. But she was watching me closely, her eyes wide open. It seemed that she wanted to say something, but this time it didn't have enough courage to, and I continued to stare at the old, shabby, and scratched tabletop. I wonder if she has anyone, not just a friend or an acquaintance like me, but someone much closer. After those events, I couldn't become more than friends with any of the girls. Maybe we were hesitating because of our past. Maybe because of the other pioneers. But eventually, I have returned to my lonely, although not so hopelessly dull life. Even managed to find a job, began to go out and talk to other people more often. Sure, it wasn't a heaven on earth, but I didn't blame my fate for that. I like these. Maybe not so fast-paced, but changes. And still, I had some emptiness in my soul, as if I lacked something important and bright in my life. But what it was, I couldn't even understand myself. Something that makes you want to wake up earlier and, for example, get up and make a delicious breakfast while humming a simple tune. Or on the contrary, lie for a bit longer, thinking about something good. I'm headed a totally wrong direction.
Bruh.
I shook my head, just as if trying to shake out these thoughts. After all, it's one of those most important holidays of the year today. Or is it? Some way I remembered one of the latest graduate meetings. No, I wasn't bored at the moment, and the girls weren't strangers to me. On the contrary, I was the reason of it. I was still trying to evade any kind of company, even a company of people who were so close to me. The floor quietly creaked under my foot when I got up and headed for the hallway. Oh yeah, the jacket is in the living room. Slavia diverted from her quiet talk with Masha and looked at me with a surprise. Where are you going to? I'll go for a walk, get some fresh air. Trying to escape her glance, I went back to the hallway and started putting my shoes on. Hands couldn't deal with the fastener. I was snorting and getting more and more angry. You can't even leave like a normal person. Having finally dealt with my shoes, I stood up and locked my eyes with Lena. She was silently watching me with some unrenderable look in her eyes. A mix of fright, surprise, and something else. Something incomprehensible, but sad. Oh, leaving already? She asked quietly. No, I'm just going for a short walk. I forced a fake smile, trying to hide the awkwardness of my current state, even though I realized that she could see through me. Only she can do it this way. Wait, I'm coming with you. What for? Going for a walk too. Do you mind? Do I mind? On one hand, yes. I wanted to be alone for a while. But on the other, of course I don't. Dress yourself, I'll wait. During all the time we've known each other, I managed to realize one thing. It's really hard for me to say no to Lena. Any protest, every objection were crushed. Should I just look into her kind of shining with some sort of magic green eyes smile and say of course? That was the time when I was truly in love. And what has changed since? You coming? Lena's voice made me snap out a hypnotizing stream of thoughts. She has already flung on her light coat, put on the boots, and we left the apartment. So what? She asked when we stepped outside. Nothing, I shrugged. And what should have happened? I don't know. I just thought you might want to talk. In private. I came up to a snow-covered bench, threw the white stuff off, and sat on the ice seat. Somewhere in the distance, a car started its engine. Well, it wasn't a car. I could recognize the sound out of 1,000 other ones. An old Leah's, the last one on the route. Number 410. Sorry, pal, not today. The grumble of the engine has become louder and more distant, as if it heard my thoughts. Of course I was curious, but I have nothing to do there anymore. Lena was standing beside a New Year's tree, emptily looking in front of her. Suddenly something hurt my chest, something strange, but so familiar, like during those old evenings that didn't actually exist. When I, tired and exhausted, not even able to turn on a TV and disconnect from this world for a short 4 hours, and Lena sitting near me, caressing my hair and singing something softly, as if trying to cradle me. Kids, we could have become a family. Why are we still living apart and meet only on holidays? After all, parents are not here to look sane at us, yell, forbid anything. Why haven't we done anything yet? One more look at the girl. A breath, a heartbeat. It's time. Lena, my voice, hoarsened at once and dry throat, weren't helping these kinds of confessions in any way. but I managed to grab her attention. What? Don't you dare to stop now. Yeah, you started. You gotta finish. I've wanted for a long time. My hands were brokenly fumbling in my pockets. Where the hell is it? And then it felt like I was splashed with a barrel of cold water. The small box and a shiny parcel was left at the kitchen. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, I left it at yours. Gonna bring it back. Just hold on. My legs ushered me to the porch, and as suddenly I heard a voice from behind. Simon, wait! I turned around. Lena was standing, holding something tiny with a careful bow on top of it in her hands. Were you searching for this? Yes. I slowly headed back, picking the right words on the move. Congrats, buddy. You know, it's kinda hard for me to say it all that way, straight off. My eyesight was stuck somewhere at the level of her feet. These boots looked nice. Must be expensive ones. I wonder where did she get the money for them? Quit procrastinating. Today on the kitchen when I asked, well, about what happened, I remember. Well, then, wouldn't you like to, oh, come on, man. But my brain acted as paralyzed, picking the opposite of what I needed to say. Millions, billions of phrases, and everything is so wrong. I would. She softly, kindly smiled to me. Then, well, Simon, Lena, where are you? The speech has already started, echoed from the direction of the house. We're coming, she shouted in response. So, what did you want? Here. I pointed at the box she was still holding in her hand. I quickly remembered that small store and a tidy sum on a price tag. Of course the contents weren't intended for what's going to happen. Happened. Damn, even thoughts flounder. May I? Yeah, take it. The box was now in my palm. The bow was the hardest part. Hands were shaking, and even the bow itself wasn't just glued. It was actually tied to the box. Goddamn the services. But then I finally opened it and pulled a small but elegant pendant on a chain. Oh, that's cute. I like it a lot. Take it. I figured you would like it. She twisted it in her hands and smiled. Thank you. A small emerald, strikingly green, just as her eyes, glistened beautifully under the light of the lamppost. An awkward silence fell. I was perplexedly looking somewhere aside, not knowing what to say. And Lena, well, she's always silent. Listen, Come on, Simon. There's nothing hard in it, just a couple words. So I thought... Lena kept silent and, with a smile, was watching me hopelessly trying to control my speech. Do you, well, eat?
Bruh.
I do. She laughed. And you, well, someday, not necessarily now, but in general, as a matter of principle, wouldn't like to together someday? I would. I was astonished while she was standing and smiling. Thank you. Let's go back? She asked softly and offered me a hand. My eyesight was still somewhere at the ground level, and my thoughts couldn't be compared to the swarm of scattering cockroaches. Ew. Yeah, it's been a long time since I did something like that. I was distracted by Lena taking my hand herself and gently pulling me, leading to the porch. Yeah, let's go. We stopped by the door. Lena tapped her pockets and searched for keys. The door replied by beeping rhythmically when a magnet chip touched a plate. I gallantly opened it in front of Lena, but she didn't hurry inside. She froze at the doorstep, as if thinking something over. Well, I couldn't finish my sentence because Lena made a step toward me. A warm kiss has imprinted on my cheek. I just stood there, breathless and astonished. Aw. I wanted to reach for her as well, but she has already stepped inside, smiling archly. a second, and it's the same shy girl in front of me as she was before, but my cheeks still contain the feels given by the kiss. Thanks, again. And again she smiled. You're welcome, Simon. And I felt that awesome changes are coming in my life. That was a nice ending. I was gonna do another ending in this video, but I'm recording this kinda late, and that was a lot of reading. So we're gonna save the next route for next time. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I guess I will see you all next time in another Frosty Kiss video, or whatever I make next. Goodbye for now.